MortgageMarketingCoach.com presents Mortgage Marketing Secrets with Doran Aldana.
So here are 10 tenets of top producers, 10 tenets of high achievers. So the first is this. Tenet number one is that your dreams must be bigger than your fears. Your dreams must be bigger than your fears, because if your fears are bigger than your dreams, you're not going to get out there and make things happen. You're not going to take a risk. You're not going to take massive action. You're going to be in bondage with fear and doubt, and it's going to hold you back and keep you stuck in mediocrity. The only thing that's going to get you off the couch and into action is having a big dream and having belief that you can do it, having belief that you can make it happen. So your dreams must be bigger than your fears. They've got to be scary and exciting at the same time. They've got to be so meaningful that they're worth giving your life to, worth giving your time to, worth investing your most precious commodity. The minutes, the hours, the days, the weeks, the months of your life. What's more valuable than that? There's nothing more valuable than that. So do you have a dream? Do you have a vision that's worth giving your life to, that's a worthy ideal? If you don't, you need one, because every top producer has a big dream, a big vision for themselves in their life. Tenet number two, feel the fear and do it anyway. Don't let fear stop you, because you see, fear in many cases is just FEAR, false evidence appearing real. So it's not necessarily real. How many times have you feared something, you did it anyways, you found out it wasn't even something to be feared anyways? It was all just a figment of your imagination. So it's very important. Sure, there's fears that are very valid. You don't want to jump out of a building because that's a very valid fear. You're going to go splat no matter how positive your attitude is. But other fears, like getting on the phone and calling prospects, or getting on the phone and calling potential referral partners, those are fears that you need to get over and act in spite of fear. Otherwise, you will stay stuck in the mire of mediocrity. So you got to have a big vision to get you feeling that fear and acting in spite of it. Move towards it, and you'll find over time that fear will dissipate and go away, because you grew through that fear and facing it to become bigger than that fear, and the fear vanishes. As you pursue it, as you move towards it, it gets smaller. Tenet number three, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Discipline is not something to be feared. It's not something to be discouraged. It's not something to steer away from. Discipline is part of the miracle process of manifestation, going from dreams to reality. It's the bridge. You can't bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be without discipline. It's part of the miracle process, the discipline of good health. You got to go to work to do that discipline. You got to go and sweat in the gym. It's the discipline. It's not to be rejected or resisted. It's to be embraced. To go to work in the discipline of building a business, the discipline of attracting referral partners, the discipline of building a team, the discipline of attracting more quality prospects. These are disciplines that must be embraced, not resisted. Tenet number four is plan your work and work your plan. Plan your work and work your plan. You don't fly by the seat of your pants. You don't go willy-nilly. You don't get around to planning when you feel like it. Every single week, you plan your week and then you work your plan. You don't start a day until you finished it in your calendar. You don't start a week until you finished it in your calendar. You don't start a month until you finished it in your calendar. You don't start a year until you finish it in your calendar. By that I mean you plan. You plan in advance. You create your life by design, not by default. That's what top producers do, and that's what top producers believe. Tenet number five, failure is an opportunity. Get this. Failure is an opportunity to start again more intelligently. So failure is not a person. Just because you did something that didn't work out, it doesn't mean you're a failure. It means whatever you did didn't work. But through that not working and through that discovery of learning that it didn't work, you learned another opportunity to start again more intelligently. You gained distinctions, nuances that you can now use to be more effective the next time you test, the next time you try another approach. You have to be flexible. You got to try new things until you find something that works. But failure is not a person. It's an event. It's a specific behavior that didn't produce the desired results. That's all it is. I think far too often we think just because we did something that didn't work that we are a failure as people. That's not accurate. That's not the way top producers think. Top producers are happy to try many different things and keep going until they find what works, because they don't take it personally. They see it as an opportunity to start again more intelligently. Tenet number 6, every challenge can be turned into an opportunity. We talked about this in Module 1, didn't we? Every challenge, not just some challenges, every challenge can be turned into an opportunity. We talked about Nelson Mandela being locked up for 27 years. Somehow, some way, he found a way to have an empowering perception, belief of what he was going through, such that he didn't feel sorry for himself. He didn't feel like, okay, my life is over. No, he embraced the challenging circumstance and he used it to the utmost, such that when he was released, he became the president of the country that once held him captive for almost 3 decades of his life. If he can do that, we can do that in our much smaller, much more trivial challenges and trials, can we not? So every challenge can be turned into an opportunity. That's the way top producers think. And they ask themselves the question, how can I turn this into an opportunity? When a trial confronts them, they don't feel sorry for themselves. They don't pout. They don't complain. They don't make excuses. They say, okay, this is a trial. This is a challenge. How can I use this to propel me forward? How can I use this to be stronger, to develop my character, to be better at what I do, to be better at who I am? They use it to propel themselves upwards and onwards instead of getting crushed by it. And all the difference, the only difference is perception. The questions they ask determine the answers they get. Top producers ask quality questions, they get quality answers. Low producers ask poor questions like, why me? Why does this always happen to me? And they get poor answers because you suck, because you're stupid, because you're a numbnut, because you're a loser, right? If you get a poor quality answer, you're going to have a poor quality life. It's just the way it works. Tenet number 7, the more you learn, the more you earn. I like the way Jim Rohn talks about how the fulfillment of dreams, the high level of accomplishment is all kept on the top high shelf, kind of like metaphorically where mom and dad used to keep the cookies when you're a kid on that high shelf and you couldn't get at it because you're too short. And the only way to get to that high shelf is to step on the books that you've read. Not the books that you've thought about reading, but the books that you read. Jim Rohn says, the book you haven't read can't help you. So as you read more books, as you learn and as you grow, as you seek wisdom, you're able to step up on those books. And as you step on those stack of books that you've read, you're able to reach the high shelf where all of the greatest achievements, the greatest accolades, the richest rewards are kept on that high shelf. So the more you learn, the more you earn. Tenet number 8, you must do the things most people won't do today so you can have the results most won't have tomorrow. So in other words, if you're willing to do the things most people won't do today, you will be planting seeds for a rich harvest tomorrow. And that rich harvest will be reserved for those who deserve it, for the sowers, for the seed planters. It's not enough to come to the ground at harvest season and say, I need a harvest. The harvest doesn't give a rip about what you need. The harvest says, don't come to me with your need, come to me with your seed. So you don't get what you need, my friends. You get what you deserve by what you sowed, by the seeds you planted. So don't bring to the marketplace your need. Bring to the marketplace your seed. While everyone else is out there having fun during the spring, you are out there sowing your seed. You're sweating, you're toiling, you're tilling the soil, you're fertilizing, you're pulling weeds, you're planting seeds. And when the time comes in the harvest season, when everyone else is starting to get hungry and they are in need of food, chances are they won't get any because they never planted their seed. Meanwhile, you'll have a rich, abundant harvest. Why? Not because you need it, but because you deserve it, because you paid the price. So you must do the things most people won't do today so you can have the results most people won't have tomorrow. Tenet number 9, there's always enough time for the things that matter most. One of the most common justifications, excuses, complaints I hear from mortgage pros time and time again is, I don't have the what? I don't have the time. I don't have enough time in the day. That's why I have a hard time achieving my goals. There's just not enough time. To which I say the top producer has the same amount of time as you, 24 hours a day. The only difference between the top producer and you is you're whining, sniveling, and complaining, telling yourself a lie that you don't have enough time. Well, they're telling themselves there's always enough time for the things that matter most. They plan their work. They work their plan. They prioritize their time. They plan it out in advance. They plan their days in advance. They plan their weeks in advance. They block schedule. They determine what matters most. They determine the highest leverage activities they should be focusing on. And thereby, they leverage their time. They get more from the time they put in. It's not about how many hours you put in, as I mentioned before. It's about what you put in to your hours. So stop telling yourself this lie, this BS, that there's not enough time. You have the same amount of time as every single other human being on the entire planet Earth. Stop telling yourself that lie. Start telling yourself the truth, that there's always enough time for the things that matter most. And what that presupposes is that you know what matters most. And what that presupposes is that you're able to prioritize what matters most and put it in your calendar. That's what top producers do. And lastly, tenet number 10, success is something you attract by the person you become. By becoming an attractive person. That's why working on yourself is the best investment you can ever make. Investing in yourself is the best investment you can ever make. So don't ask for life to be easier. Don't ask for your circumstances to be more congenial. Ask for yourself to be better. That's why every day you want to get a little better at what you do. Every day you want to read a book, listen to an audio, refine your skill. Improve yourself just a little bit every day, because you can't get success like chasing something, chasing a bird, chasing a butterfly, chasing the wind. Success is just like that. You can't get it by chasing it. You attract it by becoming an attractive person. It's something you attract by the person you become. And that's one of the beautiful things about setting a big, hairy, audacious goal that scares you and excites you at the same time. It's not the wealth, it's not the money, it's not the fancy cars, it's not the big house that's the greatest reward for accomplishing your goal. The greatest reward is who you have become in the process, what that goal has made of you in the process. Because someone could take the cars away, someone could take the money away, someone could take the house away, but they can't take away who you've become in the process. You get to keep that your entire life. That is the greatest reward of pursuing your goals, who you become in the process.
For more marketing secrets with Dora and Aldana, go to www.mortgagemarketingcoach.com.